Welcome back, everybody, to Bloomfield, Canada. We are just finishing off the last of the barley contracts. I am bringing the last load over right now. It is pretty much all the way finished, except for the last little bit. So we should get a pretty good amount of extra money when we sell off the remaining grain. It has been kind of a little while. It took me a little bit longer than I thought to finish all those barley contracts, but I think the payoff is going to be pretty good. Just before I do that, there were some cultivating contracts that came up as well. Actually, as I completed the barley fields, essentially a little bit later, a cultivating contract came up for those same fields. So I'm working on those. I did end up actually harvesting field 29, the really, really small one, and got the cultivating contract for that as well. And actually, before I turn in stuff, I'm going to just bring this over there and finish that up real quick. You can also notice that we are now on May 2. It got to be a little bit dark in terms of the, it was just a little bit too dark to play, so I skipped ahead to the next month just to get some light out there and make it a little bit easier. There's really not any more contracts besides just this last cultivating contract that I need to do, and then turning in the harvesting. So once I turn in the harvesting contracts, I'm going to skip ahead to June. There should be, I think wheat and canola are harvestable in June. I'm going to check while I'm driving here. Just wheat, actually. So I don't know how many more barley fields there are, but we could get some wheat fields popping up for some contracts and stuff like that in June. But the big thing in June is our grass on our 2 fields will be ready. So I'll probably start the month out with getting contracts and getting workers over going on those. And then while those are kind of going, we can work on cutting the grass on our field and getting some silage bales. I haven't checked the silage bales that we created last time to see where the fermentation is, but I think it's probably not quite there yet. But we're so far off from actually selling those that shouldn't really be too big of a deal. And actually, let me turn this down a bit. Let me know in the comments if the volume sounds okay, if the game volume is too loud, too quiet. You want to hear less of my voice and more of the game, just let me know in the comments and I can change that for you. But yeah, I did some calculations. We should be just above about 110,000 once I turn in the contracts. That was not factoring in any sold barley, so maybe a little bit more than that. So it's pretty decent. It's given me some confidence that we should be able to get to, above 300,000 to buy that land. Hopefully, into the summer months, when we have all the harvesting contracts and things like that. This year, like I think I mentioned last video, is going to be very contract heavy. I'm going to try to take pretty much everything unless it, doesn't really make sense. The time doesn't really make sense. If I'm not really going to make too much money from it, I'm not going to take it, despite the fact that I'm doing this very small field now. But this is simple enough that I can, knock it out here in a few minutes with some equipment that I already had rented. So from that sense, I think it's a little bit worth it, even if it's just getting me a few $100s. So yeah, hopefully after, I've said this probably multiple times at this point, but hopefully after this year I can actually slow down on the contracts. Okay, so let's take that one, the cultivating. I'm going to hold off on this one. We're going to sell some barley. All right, so didn't need much. We're already kind of making money from the extra. Let's see how much we get. Oh, just about 9,500. This is not bad at all. Put that one in. Sorry, I have sounds going off on my phone. Put that one in. All right, yeah. So I calculated about a 110, 111, and we're at 118. So I think that is pretty good. Let me just skip over to here. I cleaned this off, got it ready, kind of ready to go to mow. I'm going to mow this first since it's over here, and then head over to the other bigger field and mow that. So, yeah, there's really nothing else to do in this month. So get going to the next. I'm going to go pretty early since it gets pretty light out pretty early in June. So just to give myself as much day as possible. All right, still sitting at 117. So I do want to take the wheat harvesting, grab that before it goes away. So these are the two big fields that we just harvested the barley on. Same tractor, same cultivator. I'll also take the one that costs less. Get those going. I'm not going to do weeding. I think I've talked about that in the past. So before I get going on the grass cutting, I'm just going to get these guys going. Let's see if I can get out of here without messing up the entire... Oh, geez. That's okay. That's where I wanted it. It's fine. Nothing's damaged. That dent was there, I swear. Okay. I still think it's odd. Farming Simulator doesn't do anything with damages. I mean, you can crash into things all you want. You could get hit by a train, go flying, and your tractor is perfectly fine. So I just think that's kind of funny. Let's get a little bit of a headland. Sometimes these tractors have a tough time turning around. So give it a little bit of room to do that, especially with these holes here. Oh, I let go of the trigger. Let's see if I can get this corner. There we go. That should be good. All right. Let's start with this. Where are we going? We're going to 54. Okay. I think I've been on that field before. That might be one of the first plowing contracts we had when we started the series, actually. That. Snap into place. So probably could have kept the harvester from the last contracts. But, you know, I feel like, I mean, that would be really maximizing the amount of money we get per contract. But sometimes I do that and then like no contract comes up, so it's kind of like, feels like kind of like a waste of time anyways. Plus with the impatient, with the fact that the fuel usage is on high, sometimes that causes issues with, you know, running out of fuel while you're in the middle of a field. And then since I can't lease anything, I I don't really know what I would do at that point. I'd have to buy a fuel tank and drive it out there, and yeah, that would just end up being a waste of money. I'm gonna actually take over for the turn. Yeah, I just want to get the contracts started, since those I feel like will take longer than it will for my field. Um, I mean, we have until June 2nd. We have 2 full days to make sure we get the silage off of that field. Just drive right through this person's yard. So we should have plenty of time to make sure that we get it. But I still want to kind of get the contracts going, just because I'm going to try to keep taking contracts as they come up and get them going, and get the workers on them, so we're not sitting here just doing contracts all the time. So, all right, I have driven through fields a lot, despite saying that I was going to try not to. I have noticed that, so I apologize if that upsets anyone. I'm about to do it again. Um, Obviously, we're going to have to be careful once those are mine. Oh, geez. What just happened? Because that's physics, right? Okay. It's fine. Your stuff was already bent. I don't know where that came from. Anyone who's played this game before knows that that happens probably quite often. Weird physics. All right. It's a pretty straightforward field, just kind of back and forth. Should be pretty nice. So, all right, let's get going on our mowing. Should probably have to turn the engine on. Right, so this field shouldn't take too long. We'll just kind of go around in circles here for a little while and get this mowed up. And then once this is done, I'll take the mower over to the bigger field, get that mowed up. And then I think I'm just going to do it like one implement at a time. So move on to the windrowing, get it into bigger piles to make the baling easier. Because going back and forth with these small rows would be very tedious, would take a while. I do eventually want to get the butterfly kind of set up. I'm almost tempted to... Actually, that reminds me, I never checked the used store. So, there's really nothing... Yeah, there's really nothing that's worth it. So, but yeah, I do kind of want to get the butterfly set up to make this a little bit faster. I mean, I would still have to windrow at that point, but it would make this mowing part a lot faster. It is tempting to kind of look for it now since I do have the money, but I don't want to. I don't want to get stuck doing contracts for way too long because I just keep using the money to buy more stuff and then never actually expanding the farm. I know this is the first season I've shown of me playing, but I have played quite a few different kind of playthroughs on a lot of different maps, and I always seem to get stuck at some point where I'm just using the money I'm making to just like buy stuff instead of buying like land and things that could actually like make me money. Just because I want to make it a little bit easier there in the moment. So I'm gonna try not to do that this time. Please feel free to call me out if you notice me doing that. I usually tend to try to find some way to justify it, but Yeah, we'll see if I can kind of hold myself back a little bit when it comes to that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this mowed up, and bring this over and start mowing the other field. Periodically checking in with the harvesting, seeing how that's going, and making sure that the harvester gets emptied out. So, all right, so we are making our way through some of these contracts. The first cultivating contract is finished. So I brought it over to this big field 58. Just working on getting a headland going. Again, just to make sure it can turn around. Um, the I have a worker on our grass field. It's currently going back and forth, cutting the grass still, and we have dropped off one load for the wheat contract. It's looking like it's going to take about 5 loads to fully finish. Um, and I think I'm going to have to probably pay the most attention to the harvesting contract, unfortunately. I'm just going to have to keep a worker on the grass field. I have a real tough time driving these sometimes. I know I've mentioned that before. I can turn around. But I think in terms of cutting the grass for getting the silage that we want, I think the mowing part is probably going to be the most tedious at this point, just because it's the smallest thing that we have. I think the windrowing should go fairly quickly. The size that we have is pretty decent. I mean, that it was pretty cheap to begin with, so that's pretty good too. And then the baling will take a while as well, but with the windrowing kind of helping to create bigger rows, that shouldn't really be too much of a problem. And I'd be really interested to see how many bales we get from our field. I did check. I'll show you here in a second once I get this worker going again. The environmental score has definitely gone up. I think we were around 50, maybe right above 50 before. And now we're sitting at 76. So you can see this field is pretty much completely done in terms of nitrogen. And then this field over here, a little bit lower. I'm not really sure why that is. I thought we had fertilized it to get it up. But either way, 76 is pretty good for a score. We get an increase of 8%. So yeah, not too bad. The pH on this was really, really low though, so I might have to look into getting something to spread some pH, some lime. But as I said before, that'll be after this. I think this is still going to be first purchase. And we're about 215-ish thousand away, so quite a bit to get to that. So let's see, where are you at? 93. Workers, maybe third. I think a little bit higher than a fourth at least done with the field. I actually almost prefer using the big tractors rather than the truck for this. The trailer we had for the other contracts, the barley contracts last month, held a decent amount more than this trailer does. So, but this is what they gave us. So, I mean, the nice thing about the truck is it goes pretty fast. It just always seems to take a while to get up to speed. And there's this weird bug where if you turn too much, truck kind of snaps and you can kind of fly all over the place. I actually crashed into a tree dropping off the last load, of course. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be getting a truck for picking up or not. I might just get the larger of the two JCBs. JCBs are usually pretty good tractors for transporting grain and stuff. I'll probably just end up getting one of those with one of the large trailers. And actually, I can look at that now. So tractors, there's that the biggest one, 350. Yeah, it looks like that's the biggest one. So I'll probably pick up this JCB. It can go a nice like 43 miles an hour, so that's pretty good. And then pick up one of the larger trailers. Probably not going to use these modded ones because I feel like that's a little broken. But yeah, this one you need a truck for, so I'll probably end up getting something like this, which is what we had for the contracts in um, the last month. So I'll probably get something like this, and that should be plenty. Should hold plenty. I'm going to drive this up and see if I can fill it. Go get another set dropped off. The nice thing about the details on the mod, or sorry, the contract page, um, is it tells you how much you've delivered and how much you have left to go. So we have to round it down to like 40,000 that we have delivered and about 130 to go. So yeah, probably 4 more trips is what I'm guessing. It might be 5, depending on what the yield we get from it. But in terms of harvesting, it looks like we're almost halfway. So I don't know, maybe it'll be a little bit less than that. Almost flipped the track. See, it takes a little bit. Even, I mean, I know it's pretty heavy, but it takes a little bit to get going. But I guess that's most things. Most of the tractors when they're pulling really heavy stuff. And there we go. Another 40,000 to deliver. All right, so here dropping off the second load of wheat. Of course, I didn't have the camera going at the moment, but I did have another crash. I was trying to beat a car, and the car won. Almost made me flip over. But it worked out. We got here. I'm sure at some point you're going to see me do that. I'm kind of a reckless driver when it comes to this game. No patience. All right, 47%, just about half. So I guess my estimation, kind of looking at the field, was pretty close. I'm gonna crash again. Yeah, so just about halfway done. So 2 more, probably 3 more. I don't think 2 more will get us everything off the field, but we'll see. I think the grass field is about half done at this point. The cultivating's still going. I'm probably going to have to go once the worker's done with the cultivating. I'm probably going to have to go and clean up some areas to get the full 100%. Just because it skips, the workers naturally skip some areas. You kind of see that spot right there that skipped. So if it doesn't get to 100%, I might have to go and do a little bit there. But yeah, I also checked the map to see what's left to harvest, and this is the only field for this month that is ready to harvest. So there will not be any more wheat contracts this month. There are some around though that will be close. And here, once I get in position, I'll show you. Um, so if I look at this tab, you can see 51 here is wheat, 49 is wheat, and 51 is actually should be ready next month. 49 will not be. I think that's because, yeah, you can harvest wheat for a very long time, all the way through December actually. So, um, yeah, we won't be having any wheat contracts, or we will have wheat contracts next month, but not 49. That'll be a little while. This 12 is a wheat contract that looks like it's just about done. Here's an oat contract that might be done next month. Here's a few more wheats. So yeah, we're gonna have plenty of contracts here in the month of July. But here in June, there is really nothing else ready to harvest. The only contracts I might get would be like this wheat contract might come back up for a cultivating. Um, and yeah, pretty much everything else might get some planting. Let's see that's available to plant. So corn, soybeans, sorghum. There might be something that we can plant or do the sowing contract, I guess, here coming up. But yeah, pretty much after these contracts, we might be just about done for the month. I mean, we still have the worker working on cutting our grass for us. He looks to be about half done now. So obviously, we're gonna have to get this finished up this month. Um, repair on that is pretty low. I wonder if that's there's the harvester up for sale. Yeah, we don't need that. I think it might be the mower. No, the mower's at 3%. I wonder if it's the tractor. 53. Yeah, the tractor's going to need repaired here pretty soon, which will be, I'm guessing probably maybe $10,000, maybe a little bit less than that, but I'm going to think in my head $10,000. Um, so let's see, how are you doing? You're about halfway. Okay, I can take over for some harvesting while I'm waiting for it to fill up. So yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. We're making a decent amount of money. We're above the 100,000 mark. Hopefully, in the next month or so, I can get above 200,000, and I think realistically, maybe sometime in the fall, like September, might be about when we're getting to the point where we can buy that land. And then immediately, all contracts from that point. I mean, I'm going to keep going with them for the rest of this calendar year, and see if I can. Once I get the land, I will push to get the TMR mixer, and then after that, probably the back for the mower and another spot of land will be what I'm kind of going for. That way I can get some cows and start making some money. Once I get the cows, I'm going to get a dairy and kind of get all that going. If I can get a second piece of land, I'll probably have to get rid of or maybe not get rid of, but kind of put some grass back on that first field. Um, that way I can kind of use that for some of the productions. Like, I don't know, I have to check to see if I can fit all three. So let me go into the construction menu and maybe I can go over there and do that now as we're kind of flying across the map. I have thought about putting some sort of path through these trees. I would have to buy this land to do that, but it would make it a little bit easier to get to this area. But let's see, productions. I am going to build my own dairy, just to make it a little bit easier. But let's see if I put that just about there. I'm not placing it yet, so it should be no issue. Just about there. And then flavored milk, just about there. The ice cream. Yeah, so I should have plenty of money. Or, yeah, not plenty of money. Plenty of space to put all three there. And I have to think about kind of how I want to situate that. Probably put a road in, stuff like that. So yeah, this is where I'm going to keep all the productions, I think. And our think about whether I want to kind of put a trail in here or not. I'm not going to clear all these trees because that I feel like would just get to it would feel kind of like a forestry map at that point. Um, and these trees are kind of too big to. I mean, they're nice for forestry, but I don't really want to deal with them. So it would probably be over here somewhere, just to cut through to make a nice path, probably at a diagonal or something like that. Go about here, just to kind of give myself some easier access. But yeah, that's kind of what my thought is for that. Let me stop paying attention to the harvesting. Of course, I stopped on a hill, so it's going to take a little bit to get going. So yeah, we're just about at time, so I think I'm going to end the video there. In between, I'll probably keep working on these contracts, and keep working on the grass field, and I'll probably bring you back once we're kind of finishing up with the grass field, and let you guys know how many bales we get off of that. Yeah, and go from there. So thanks for joining again today. I hope you liked the video, and I will see you here again next time. Have a good one.